Hello, it's Monday, the 12th of May, in the year of our Lord 2025. We're back with another daily dose of Diddy, and we will be doing this every single night throughout the trial. Didn't bother coming back on Thursday because no one was sitting in trial at court that day. And Friday, not a lot was happening in there, and they finished jury selection this morning. So I think it was probably around 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock that the opening statements were presented. But inside the courtroom, the usual suspects were present. Judge Submaranian, of course, presiding over the case, and full bench of attorneys, Assistant US Attorney Emma Johnson leading the charge for the prosecution, and Terry Garagos defending Diddy. Now, Garagos was in trouble last week with Judge Submaranian because he went on a podcast that he does with the TMZ dude and started talking about the case, which he shouldn't do, and Submaranian quickly put him in his place and said this wasn't to happen again. No cameras, obviously, are allowed in the courtrooms, but the press were there. Inner city press were there. The loyal inner city press was in there, and a lot of the reporting I'm going to be giving you tonight is from him and other sources. Diddy's families, his children were present. His daughter Chance, the twins Jesse and Delilah, son Christian were all seated behind him. The Janice, the mother, she was also in court. Now, apparently, throughout the court proceedings today, the twins and Chance got up out of their seats and left, I presume, when the nasty stuff was being exposed, because there were some really disgusting things exposed today. And the jury were told that they will probably be seeing videos of freak offs, etc. And that they were told that actually before they were finalised and whether they could be able to handle disgusting videos like that. So, okay, so Diddy himself, he kept a calm and collected demeanour. He was dressed in a light grey sweater, dark pants, and sitting in the front row. Opening statements began with prosecutor's opening statement. Assistant US Attorney Emily Johnson laid it all out, starting with shocking claims and charges against Diddy span over 2 decades. Johnson details a number of alleged crimes, sex crimes, bribery, arson. But it was the details of Diddy's abusive behaviour towards his ex-girlfriend Cassie that caught the attention of the courtroom. Johnson described an alleged violent episode that took place one night when Diddy found out Cassie was seeing another man. Furious, Diddy and his bodyguard went to the man's house and I think this is Kid Cudi, intending to confront him. Johnson described Diddy's threats to kill the man and his escalating rage, which eventually turned to violence when he found Cassie. Apparently, this was just one of the stories the prosecution started with within the case. Johnson didn't stop. She went on to describe other instances of physical abuse from Diddy towards Cassie. According to the prosecution, Diddy would often lash out at Cassie for small reasons, like taking too long in the bathroom. Johnson even brought up claims that Diddy used videos of Cassie with other men to blackmail her, threatened to release them if she didn't comply with his demands. And this pattern of control, manipulation was centre of the prosecution's argument. The defence started their argument. Tony Garagos, his Diddy's lawyer, painted a very bigger picture of the situation. According to Garagos, Diddy's behaviour, while immediately troubling at times, was the result of his personal struggles, primarily with substance abuse and emotional challenges. He tried to humanise Diddy, saying that his actions were not as malicious as the prosecution had suggested. Garagos acknowledged that past issues with Cassie, but argued that it wasn't a calculated effort to control her life. It was an example of a complicated man dealing with complicated relationships. They were kind of focusing on, Garagos was also kind of focusing on all of what they're going to hear was all consensual. So they then moved on to witness testimony. This is where it got gross. The first up was Daniel Phillip, and he was a male escort. He took the stand and he recalled an encounter with Diddy during which Diddy allegedly paid him for sex with Cassie. Philip mentioned that Cassie initially excuse me, offered him $2,000 for the encounter, but after the fact, Diddy handed him 4 grand in cash. The prosecution used this testimony to suggest Diddy's controlling, exploitative behaviour. The defence didn't waste any time attacking Philip's credibility, questioning his motives, and trying to paint him as a less than reliable due to his past. I mean, it was in that statement where he got really graphic, and it was quite shocking. I was reading it, and I had that surprise witness on YouTube. She's fantastic for covering court cases. She actually lost her job. She was a qualified lawyer, but yeah, it was really gross, really disgusting about him urinating on her. And I'm not going to go into it, you don't need to hear it, but that's the way the course of what he was saying he experienced at the hands of Diddy. Then we had a hotel security guard called Israel Flores. Um, he testified that he'd witnessed Diddy physically assaulting Cassie in a hotel hallway back in 2016. According to Flores, Diddy had even offered him money to keep quiet about the incident. This testimony is the key, showing a pattern of abusive behaviour. So that's obviously the video footage that the whole world and his mother saw. So they took a lunch break. Afternoon sessions resumed at about 1:30. Tony Garrigus was sharp, continuing going on about Philip's credibility, focusing on his past and his questionable history. This was trying to weaken the prosecution's case, obviously. One interesting moment in the afternoon came when the judge had to step in. There was some back and forth between the prosecution and defence that got a bit heated. The judge quickly regained control, reminding both sides to keep things on track. It's clear that there's loads of tension in the room as the trial is intensing. Court adjourned for the day this afternoon, and it's going to be continuing witnesses tomorrow. As we say, Cassie was due. They were hoping Cassie was going to be seen today, but she wasn't. So she is going to be hopefully tomorrow, because they do say she's going to be giving birth. So that's the dose of daily. Oh God, I can't say it. Your daily dose of Diddy. Be back tomorrow with day 2 of the Sean Diddy Combs trial. That's it. libertytactics.co.uk. Good night and God bless.